Hello folks, I'm here today with the 2024 Hyundai Kona Electric. The batteries in these come in two different flavours. You've got a 48 kilowatt battery pack, gives you 156 PS of power and a 0-62 time of 8.8, along with 234 miles of range. Then there's a larger battery pack, 65 kilowatt hour, 218 PS of power, 7.8 seconds to 62 and 319 miles of range. Although to get the best range out of it, you really want the 17-inch wheels on the car. This one comes as standard with 19s. The one I've got today, by the way, is the Ultimate Edition, and it has got the larger battery pack and the Lux pack. Now the Kona Electric's priced from £35,000 and it goes up to 43 for that Ultimate trim with the biggest battery pack. There are actually a couple of optional extras you can throw in as well. Of course, if you want to check the latest leasing prices on it, just click the link to Lease Loco in the video description. Now the boot's a really good size and shape, and I was really surprised to hear that it's only 466 litres because it feels a lot bigger than that. You've also got really useful amount of underfloor storage. You can see that's sort of housing the granny charger at the moment and a few other bits and bobs, but there's plenty of usable space there. In addition to this, what I think is quite a fantastic boot space, you've also got 27 litres available in the front. So in the cabin, pretty much everything is bang on. I've got a couple of little pet peeves, but they're very minor issues, but let's go through that. On this side, we've got the infotainment display. It's fantastic. There aren't loads of bells and whistles to it. It's very functional, very easy to use, nice and bright and clear. You've also got wireless Apple CarPlay. You've got Android Auto, everything you really want from an infotainment display. Nice big screen, but it's not sort of massively distracting because they have sunk it down a little bit. You don't have like an iPad coming up to here, so that's all good. Driver information display, likewise, nice and bold and colourful. It looks modern. It's not overly cluttered. It does everything you want it to. It's got that great feature that you get on Hyundai and Kia vehicles, where you put the indicator on and you immediately see the blind spot up on the driver display. That's fantastic. You know, it's just such a simple thing that you use every day in practice. It's not a gimmick. As for the controls, we've got physical buttons. What a thing. We've actually got quite a lot of buttons in here, and I think the cabin's all the better for it. Well done, Hyundai. What's not so good, in my personal opinion, and this is a minor quibble, is the display where it shows you the temperature and the fan and with the aircon controls basically. It all looks a bit LCD. It looks a little bit 1993, especially when you contrast that to up here where you've got this really modern, you know, ultra high res display. And I would have liked to have seen something a bit higher res there. That's not going to affect your ownership of this vehicle. It's not going to affect your life in any way. As I said, a very minor pet peeve. The other minor pet peeve is the way the USB ports are set out. You've got a couple of USB-Cs here, both do different things. It's a little bit busy. I think they could have been perhaps hidden up here slightly more effectively. It just doesn't feel like the best design, but in practice it all works. It's all fine. In this one we've got a wireless charging pad for your phone. We've then got a dial for the drive mode, easy touch button controls for things like your heated steering wheel, your heated seats, your cooled seats in this one as well. And then a couple of cup holders which sort of push out. I'm not going to do that now because I've forgotten how to do it. And then we've got a tiny little cubby here with a bigger space under here. All in all, very nice. Material quality is really good throughout. Nothing fancy, not too much in the way of soft touch, but just the quality of everything. You can tell that this car is going to feel the same in 10 years. You're not going to have loads of rattles and squeaks and things from it. It's not flimsy in any way. The steering wheel's lovely. I've got quite used to this from Hyundai vehicles. You've got touch button controls, you've got little rocker dials, switches, everything's lovely, well laid out, and it all makes sense. You've also got flappy paddles here to control the regen braking, which is very good in this car, but more on that in the test drive. The other minor pet peeve of mine is the gear selector. It's down here and it's kind of a rocker situation, and I've mentioned this in other videos, and I know in the comments people have disagreed with me, but for me it's an issue. You go forwards, you rock it forwards to go forwards in drive and back to go to reverse. Now that sounds like it makes the most sense in the world, but in most cars, if I think of anything with a traditional sort of automatic gearbox lever, you go up for reverse and down for drive. In my Tesla, for example, it's on the stalk, you go up for reverse and down for drive. And in most cars, you go up for reverse and down for drive. So it's the other way around in this car. You get used to it, like very quickly, but when you're jumping in between cars a lot, as I do, you don't always get used to it that quickly, and you can have the odd hairy moment with it. I haven't, by the way, Hyundai. But this interior really sums up the car very, very well. It's not flash, it's very functional. It feels like it's going to last a long time, and it feels like it's good quality. And that's the Kona all over, really. Your rear seat passengers are going to be really comfortable too, because you've got loads of leg room. Look at that. Plenty of headroom. And you've actually got foot room, which is becoming a rarity in EVs. In the centre here, we've got really simple little armrests with a couple of cup holders. Down here, we've got 2 USB-C ports. This one's also got a 2-pin plug. But generally, everything's really nice and comfortable. It's bright, it's airy. Your rear seat passengers are going to like travelling in this car. This one's also got heated seats in the rear, which is nice as well. So yeah, a big win. Now, something very sensible on this Kona is that it's got its charging point right at the front, which, when I can get it open, gives you really easy access at even really tight charge points. By the way, if you'd like to improve that public charging network, I strongly suggest you check out the 𝑘𝑠 app. There's a link in the video description for it. It's completely free to use. And basically, what that does is allows you to actually rate and review and give feedback to charge point operators, and that's shared with lots of different other apps. It's shared with people like Google and the charge point operators themselves. You earn points while you're doing that, and those points can be turned into prizes. You can get yourself things like an Amazon gift card, you can get money off your Octopus electricity bill. All great things, all really simple, and it's a really nice app. I've been using it for a while now, and I suggest you check it out too. Use the code NOTAGURU on sign up and get yourself some welcome points. Link is in the video description. So getting out onto the road, let's remember that this is an electric car which is very heavy. Electric cars are heavy because the batteries weigh a lot, and they need batteries because they're electric. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It actually feels really light and nimble, and a lot of that comes from the steering. I mean, you can just nip around in traffic. Yeah, it really feels light as a feather to drive. Now, despite the fact that the steering is light, it doesn't feel vague in any way. It just feels really easy and comfortable. I really like this thing to drive. It's not a fun car, like you don't get a real sort of engagement with it. You're not going to take this on the twisty back roads. But if you want that kind of car, you're not going to be looking at a Kona, in fairness, are you? You do have to get used to these bings and bongs. I deliberately haven't turned them off so that you can see what it's like in the real world. There are lots of safety features, lots of driver assistance features in this car, and they are a little bit annoying at times. But you can turn them off, but as is the case with many of these things now, you have to turn them off literally every time you get into the car. It's not a turn it off once and forget about it kind of thing. It will keep coming back to remind you. That's going to be in every car soon enough, so you know, don't mark the Kona down for that, because it's actually European laws, and yes, we still have to adhere to those apparently. The suspension's well damped, it's really nice and comfortable. This is the kind of car you just get in and drive, and it's just really easy to live with on a day-to-day basis. It's also very efficient. You know, at the moment I'm getting 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. That obviously will duck down if I got onto a faster road, but you know, the predicted range of the car does seem to be reasonably accurate, unlike some EVs. It's a really nice thing. I don't think it's a car that's going to excite you. I don't think it's a car that you're going to sort of get out of and you can't wait to the next time you go into it. I don't think you're going to be looking for excuses to pop out in it just so you can have a little drive, like you might in a two-seat sports car, for example. But life's not about two-seat sport cars all the time, is it? Life's about going to Tesco's, and it's about going to your place of work and back and having something reliable and comfortable and quiet and easy to live with. And I think the Kona really delivers on all those fronts, and it really delivers. Like, it is a very, very good car. Now the compact SUV crossover electric car market is fairly crowded. You know, there are quite a few options to choose from. Of course, the Kia Niro E is very closely related to this car. But if you're interested in that segment of the market, I think you owe it to yourself to check out the Kona, particularly if you want something with a bit more range, because a lot of the competition are in that sort of 200 to maybe 250 mile range mark. And obviously this one is capable of over 300, certainly on paper. So that alone sort of makes it stand out from some of the rest of the pack, quite a lot of the rest of the pack. But this is a car without too many frustrations or compromises. And if you're in the market for a crossover, small SUV, whatever you want to call it, this deserves to be part of your conversation, and it deserves to be an important part of your conversation. It's that good. Folks, there's a reason why the Hyundai Kona is so popular. There's a reason why it's won so many car awards. It's not because it's flash or brash or anything else. It's not even the most exciting thing in the world to drive. It's just bloody good at pretty much everything it does. And there's a lot to be said for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I'm really trying to get to 50,000 subscribers this year, and I'd like you to be one of them. And please, if you'd like to look at leasing one of these, click that link to Lease Loco. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one.